Dawn of a new era, dawn of a new breed, dawn of a new scene, dawn of supposedly some new crown royalty, dawn of some new kings. Yo, let the hatred surge, let the hatred, let the hatred circulate. Feel it again, re-account for it again. Let the hatred surge, peep the new urge, standing out. I don't mean to always stand out, like I got a new perm. I guess I never learned, I ain't trying to get nerfed, I'm gonna do it till it's complete, do it till it's perfect. I ain't give a fuck if you concur. On my horse, on my boots. You can't forget the spurs, cause I need that speed boost. I need that boost, lock, drop, drip. I ain't trying to get hoodwinked. I ain't trying to get hood hoggled. I just gotta toggle this new gauntlet like the hobgoblin, fresh out of the turkey goblet. Painful blessings. Learn the lessons, the lesson. Where's my inner heaven? So far away, so warped out to warped in, so far away from my heaven. No hiding anymore. Take it for another ride. Take it for another whirling out, creeping out, tweaking out, leaking out. Let the hatred surge. Let the hatred feel. Don't deny the inner hate. Don't deny the inner hate. Genetics, DNA, it's all up in your paint. It's all up in your paint. Old ancient Star Wars, Fairfields, for real though. Ill though, pedal on the metal like I got my gas steel toe on lock up, lock in to, don't forget to do the primary step first, bitch, is get your form right. Obviously the trainer's the saying, get the form first, get the form fit, get the form shift, get the form mutable, ever so uncontainable, ever so malleable, ever so moldable, ever so shapeable, ever so unscotable, cause I'm electrifiable with this ethereal wind current, I'm current, I'm spurring, I'm sparring, I'm starring me and everybody else, cause supposedly everything is in and out of infinity. Crusading windows for Shizzo, on the autumn rain down the drain, off the pen, out the window, crescendo for Shizzo, that one was bad. Okay, that
Guys, UMGC is waiting.
That one was bad. It's how you start it. So this is raw shit. Should I do that one over? Should I do that one over? God damn it. So the thing with my style is, I got to bring the rawness back to the balance. And like, it is what it is. I'm not trying to overspeak. Aside from people's surface level interpretations and perceptions, I am practicing for real, without the rhetoric of it, some type of real mindfulness. And shout out to everybody who has that inkling of mindfulness in the 95% toxic world, because everybody, even if you're a goody two-shoe or you're an evil villainous cat, you're still oscillating within the rhythms and the currents of life, and you still need some intellectual factor to have some type of new mindfulness, to be mindful of the change of evolution and the shifting changes of evolution. So casually, everybody needs some type of mindfulness, right? And casually, we're all learning. We're all like, quote unquote, the same, right? We're all similar, right? So if we're all similar and we're trying to throw a stone at someone that is likened to us, then that's what the 3D is for, to entertain these personal problems. So like, obviously, within, God, quote unquote, God and goddesses, don't forget the goddesses, right? Because the duality is coming to a new, quote unquote, oneness and completion perhaps original open source, whatever, shut the fuck up. So the god and the goddesses, they're giving us oh man, I just lost the point. The god and the goddesses, you know, the higher consciousness, whatever, and however it fucking splits together and comes back together, but it follows that certain order before the chaos, and it observes the chaos, and it tries to fix the chaos, right? For real, though. So within all of that, the preserver consciousness, for real, it's giving us a chance to grow through the growing pains of the middle dimension. As I've said many, many, many times before, this 3D Earth is the perfect esoteric 50-50 percentage, but the surface level material mechanics might be like 98%, 2%, you know, fairness, unfairness, respectively. There's still respectively some esoteric order. So no matter what you're trying to purge out or surge out, it's all just a learning process, and it's a lesson to lessen, right? The lesson is to lessen. So what am I really trying to say here? I'm trying to say we have a segue of quote unquote needing to go through the chaos, not good, not bad. And within the chaos being propped up in this fucking field, that's what the Matrix has that for what it is. And people are in their position for what it is and how they come from the quote unquote, the dark goddesses and the dark gods respectively. And that's not necessarily good or bad. And as they come from that, they spawn themselves in a particular conscious domain where they had to make something out of nothing in their unique esoteric way. And as they made something out of nothing, and I'm just going off the cuff here, my star nagas, as they're making something out of nothing, that's the mechanics of away from spiritual heaven, right? Because we're not in spiritual heaven per se, right? But we can bring it down here. It's like the quote unquote, the real natural chosen ones. And I don't even like that fucking term because it's just played out cliche shit. And I've always detected that played out cliche shit for the longest time. And for me to differentiate played out cliche shit for real, energetically debunk it and decode it and then transcend it, that's the intellectual miracle, because it's not necessarily chosen one this, chosen one that, obviously, but that's its own like mind shit program, respectively, or whatever. But within that, the real quote unquote natural chosen ones, end quote, go transcending the fucking meaning of that fucking bullshit, you know, just the lingo of it or whatever. The real natural chosen ones are bringing the fucking original heaven, and it in a 50-50% esoteric mechanic way, it's getting thwarted and taken advantage of casually. And then a layer after that, then it's getting exploited more. And then 95%, it's being filtered unfairly with the esoteric science and the math of it, right? So this is beyond all of the shit. Original Quality Underground 2017, all of that shit, all of it. It's beyond all of this petty ass shit. Why? Because it's seeing the essence of how something gets transcended. And it's seeing the essence of seeing how any of whatever the fuck you're talking about has a particular starting point. Anything. For real, original open source, anything. Before and after, all the tech companies just rape data, replicate data, and get paid and just to inherit and replicate data. There's a particular process of transcendence for real. So the natural chosen ones, what are they doing? They're bringing the fucking real heaven to this fucking shit show. And the fucking toxic consciousness takes advantage of that, plays victim, and tries to capitalize off that, off of toxic ways, quote unquote, esoterically, not good, not bad. That's the mechanics of the 3D matrix of where we're at. So I still stand by what I say, that there's beta ass, tech ass, bitch ass billionaires that say they're about some rhetoric, but they're really not. And they're really not about some real shit. And that's okay, because that's just the mechanics. And you know, obviously, you know, God's seeing the intentions of like harm, right? There's like, oh, I want to harm you. I want to do this, that, and this, the fucking monkey mind. Oh, I'm going to like, you know, the higher predecessors, they see it all, right? It's everything is seen on some 2020 shit, on some fresh 2019 shit, on any, fuck the year. It's like any year. It's like, it's all seen, right? Everything is seen. It's all noticed. But if you have an obsolete consciousness from the, or outdated consciousness and perspective from the past age, and you're not minding the transition, respectively, that's your mission, that's your accountability, that's your responsibility, right? And like obviously I like prepare for anything too, right? You know, because anything could like happen, but I'm just saying like everything is seen, right? So everything is like seen. But let me go back to the other point. What was I just saying on the other point? Let me sip this coffee. So I did a song doing some discourse. So the natural chosen ones, quote unquote, but being mindful to go beyond that rhetorical lingo of mental shit, right? Mental cachet, whatever the fuck, you know. The natural chosen ones, what are they doing beyond the saying of it, right? Because if we get caught up on the word like chosen one, chosen, and we dwell on that with our quote unquote our shadow consciousness, our dormant confused consciousness, that there being an intermixing on their original open source, then we're going to get led on a trajectory of more confusion. More confusion accumulates with more confusion, right? So what are the natural chosen ones doing in the mechanics of the matrix? Not good, not bad, and people just being born into their position and playing their role, right? Because everybody has a role to play, and they're doing their part, right? Because this is a game, right? It's a quote, life is a quote unquote video game, right? Or whatever. And as life is a video game, eventually the stages of the video game, once you're at a higher stage, the lesser stage, it's not necessarily there anymore. So 50 years from now, all of the bullshit that we're talking about in the long term, 50 years from now to quote unquote beyond, what is that? What is all that shit? What significance will any of this shit hold? Pause. What significance will any of this shit hold? And it will obviously, like mathematically, it will hold some significance because it played its part for the stage of the characters in the video game, upholding and being a staple of a stage in a video game for us to grow through that and past that, because we can't move on to the next stage until we complete this stage. But obviously there's a quote unquote energetic cheating factor, right? You know, but that's a different conversation. Because obviously people could twist rhetoric and use rhetoric and be disingenuous with the rhetoric, so they could use it for just a factor of the 3D mechanics matrix. What is the 3D mechanics matrix? Esoterically, it's 50% chaos, 50% order, and it's 95% unfairness, 5% fairness, give or take, based on the surface level, using, you know, just some type of quote unquote shadow consciousness, right? Not good, not bad, but it could be, right? So what am I really trying to say here? What am I really trying to say here? The original natural chosen ones, they're the ones bringing the heaven on the earth, and all the prophecies will uniquely decode that in different ways. And as they're doing that, it seems like the Matrix is challenging them more, because the Matrix doesn't necessarily want like out of control, free for all, like quote unquote something of a handout, right? Or something of a bliss handout, right? So, and that's not good, that's not bad either. Obviously, like it's not what we do, it's how we do it. It's like, how are we putting the process of quote unquote a recapitalization and a automated business transaction, how are we fairly putting that into play beyond the rhetoric? And I have to keep saying that, because if I don't reiterate it how I reiterate it, then ironically we're going to get caught in that rhetoric, and we're going to get stuck in that rhetoric, and we're going to get so stuck in the rhetoric we don't know that other people could be doing the same thing we're doing. So it's even more important that it's not what we do, it's how we do it. So I'm not trying to demonize anybody, because 50 years from now, what significance will anything that you're fucking thinking or fucking with or working with it, 50 years from now, what significance will it hold, right? And why is that an important question to ask? What significance will it hold? Because it's going to see what supported the fucking shit, right? Any of the fucking shit. what supported it. And why is that fucking good to know what supported it? So we could get support, so we could follow up on some type of real support without all of the drama, confused, lower octave narratives that other nations could be just fucking with because they're lacking some type of Western critical intelligence and innovation, respectively. And there's just so much irony across the board. So what am I really trying to say here? What significance will any of whatever you're thinking of hold 50 years from now? The thing that will hold significance is what is supporting the shit. Pause. Why is that good to know what's supporting the shit? So we could fucking support ourselves and feel fulfilled and follow up and put more better beneficial ingredients to the cookie batch, cake batter batch, to how we follow up and take action, to how we could feel good in a quote unquote fair way so the cheating factors don't get the best of us in a different universal mechanics, right? Because, and that's a different subject of like, who's to say like, it's just a nuance. The law it's kind of a nuance on the international board because each nation has different laws, right? So if each nation has different laws, your nation is not going to follow up on someone else's nation because there's a particular nuance where there's just a differentiation of sovereignty. Okay, I don't know how this is going to work. So I'm at 3%. I don't know if it like got the last point. So I'm going to conclude the video. So the recent point I was saying is like we're analyzing what will be there as a support system 50 years from now, and how the things in the matrix right now, they're just stages. So we could possibly, I'm just naturally saying this, I'm not trying to blow anybody's cover, you know, and people are going to like do what they're going to do. And supposedly God doesn't judge. He's just making the game, right? And everyone has their opinions dazzled within. But like 50 years from now, we're going to see what's significant as far as what's going to get us to the 50 years from now. And seeing how quote unquote evil could be a challenge and it could thwart us. That's, you know, there could be insane difficulty with reaching a particular type of natural spiritual sovereignty, right? So I'm going to conclude the video. The point I want to drive home is just kind of like counter, and I'm not trying to like fear monger either, you know, but counting the blessings of, so you could like have some type of appreciation to contribute to like some type of real spiritual happiness, right? So what am I trying to say here is quote unquote counting the blessings, and obviously you know Bring Me the Horizon, they already caught that wind, right? So and shout out to them, you know, doing their shit, you know, and no judgment on Mercury's new growth, right? So I'm going to conclude the video, and the concluding point I want to make with the video is analyzing what's supporting us so we could make it possibly. So this is some rarefied shit. Will we make it, quote unquote, or how will we make it to 50 years from now, right? So how are we going to make it to 50 years from now? And the advanced predecessors giving us game on just the challenges in the matrix, pretty much, right? So I'm going to conclude the video now because the flow got some type of way.